You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
My first guest is Maura from the Irish National Heritage Park. Tell me a little bit about your own background, please.
I suppose I'm from the town, St John's Road. I'm in the Heritage Park for the last 12 years, but prior to that I was in the hotel and catering industry. I was the general manager of the Crosby Cedars Hotel down there in Rosslare. And prior to that I would have been in White's Hotel for many years. I did a long stint, I suppose, in London, about 8 years, in two of the very good top hotels over there. But you know yourself, everybody comes home.
What prompted the change from the hotel sector into the Heritage Park 12 years ago?
I saw the job advertised, always had a bit of graw for the old heritage to see what was going on. Would have visited the Heritage Park as a tourist, I suppose, even when I'd be coming home from London for the old holidays a week or two every year. And I was getting to the stage, I had my first daughter, late, very, very late nights in the hotel industry. So I decided maybe I'd look at something more daytime, now not just Monday to Friday, because as we all know, the tourism industry is a 7-day week.
I know that there's lots of different thoughts and myths, I suppose, in relation to who owns the Heritage Park. Maybe you could give us some clarity in relation to that.
It was a great vision of the then county manager, Mr. Noel Dillon, and a lot of other history and heritage people around Wexford at the time, such as Dr. Edward Culleton, Rory Murphy and others, who decided to have the vision and the dream to put a very big tourist and education attraction just outside of Wexford town. They went ahead looking for funding from Bord Fáilte. They bought and purchased the land that was out there at Ferry Carrig, which apparently was very marshland, which we know, and they set about opening and building a heritage park. So ideally the land was belonged to the Wexford County Council, and a trust was set up called Wexford Heritage Trust. We trade as the Irish National Heritage Park. I'm answerable to a board of directors, all voluntary, I have to hasten to add, and they're absolutely brilliant. We do have an association with Wexford County Council, obviously because they were the originators of the project itself. But we're run by a board of directors and we have our own not-for-profit company. So, you know, it's all out there to get the business into us, Karl.
How many people are going through the park on an annual basis?
I suppose for the last couple of years we would have had on average about 48,000 visitors last year, and the year before about 46,000. Prior to that, in 09, we would have been nearly up to 60,000. We would have been in a slight tailspin. The fact that the park was getting a little bit dilapidated and a little bit older, and obviously with the current climate and what's going on, you know, the footfall was less into it. But I'm delighted to say, Karl, that we were given a fabulous grant from Fáilte Ireland. Only last year, we're 3/4 way through a huge redevelopment in the park.
Tell me a bit about the profile of the people that are visiting the park.
The profile primarily is domestic market, and for those of you who don't know what the domestic market is Irish people, or people that live in Ireland coming to visit us on a day trip or maybe an overnighter if they're staying in and around the Wexford area. Our second biggest market would be our English market, and that we feel would be primarily because of the Europort. People coming in, they'll either hit us on the way in or on the way back out. Maybe if they need to kill a couple of hours, they'll pop into us before they go and get the ferry back over. Our third market segment would be our foreign language school tours. I suppose it's because we can really cater for big capacity groups, that we would have a lot of French and Spanish students coming to us. A lot of them would be staying in Dublin with their host families, obviously learning English for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. And they would come down to us for their day trip. And obviously we have a lot of our interpreters in different languages: French, English, Spanish, Polish, German, Italian, Irish and English. So it's quite good for them. And our next biggest market after that would be our Nordic countries, really, because of the Viking connection. And then the market after that would be the US market.
How about school tours? Are you getting many of those?
Our primary school tours would probably be more proactive than the secondaries. The secondaries seemed to feel that they need to do more leisure activities. A lot of them go away for weekends and overnights and things like that. But our primary school tours are really our bread and butter, to be quite honest with you, for the months of May and June. As I said, we can cater for very large groups. Some schools love coming to us because they can bring all their whole sixth class or all their first years. It could be 120 students at a time or 180 students at a time. So really we depend so much on our education market as well.
And how far are those school tours coming from?
Mainly from Dublin, Carlow, Kilkenny, Waterford, But there's one school in particular that comes from Middleton in County Cork every single year with the same teacher because he absolutely loves it. So we don't get the West Coast, obviously, because we do know it's too far away.
You mentioned earlier on that you got a grant from Fall to Ireland in relation to the development of the park over the last couple of years. How much money has been spent on redeveloping the park?
Well, in total, we got €1,054,000 from Fall to Ireland, and we borrowed €250,000 ourselves. So it'll be that going into the park, and it specifically is for the park only. We didn't get any grant for the visitor centre, the restaurant or the shop or anything like that. So all the money is being pumped into the park itself.
How has the park catered for non-English speakers?
We have our audio guide available in 7 different languages. We also have new signs around the park, which also has the 7 languages on. They get a snippet of information from it. And we have some French and Spanish speaking personnel within our team at the moment. So hopefully we'll be able to help everybody.
What else is the park doing to promote itself out there?
Carl, I have to tell you, we're doing absolutely lots. We were very, very lucky recently to get a lovely lady who is very much on top of our social media, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the LinkedIn, stuff that we really don't know anything about. It's a whole new audience to us that we're able to tap into. We're able to run competitions on it. We're able to get people's feedback on it. And you know what? It's great for local awareness. And that's what we really need as well. Also, at the moment, what we call internationalisation of our website. We've actually put it into French and German. Now, this is not as simple as it seems, not just at the click of a button where you do Google Translate and it just translates everything for you. We needed to tailor our website to whatever market we were targeting in France and German. They're completely different markets in themselves. Absolutely. The French are into activities and adventure and a little bit of heritage and culture. The Germans love gardens, heritage, built heritage and reconstructed heritage. So we had to change our websites for that. So we're absolutely thrilled with Fiona helping us do all that at the moment.
How effective has TripAdvisor been for your own business?
Well, it's been brilliant. It was another social media aspect that Fiona said we should be doing. Really, if anybody has had a good experience with this, remember, Carl, when anybody comes into the Heritage Park and crosses the threshold, as we call it, we always say, hello, how are you, how's it going, no matter who they are. And when they're leaving, we always say goodbye. But we do say to them, if you've had a good experience with us, good, bad or indifferent, we would love to hear. We do encourage people to go on to TripAdvisor and rate us. But we do find it's more of an age profile thing. It is the younger person that will do that as opposed to the older person that maybe wouldn't realise it.
That's the online side of the marketing. What about offline, a more traditional type advertising? What has worked for the park?
Well, various different ways. I mean, school tours are their own thing. They're called mail shots. So that's completely different. But I suppose local radio has been good for us. We also do profiles in different magazines.
And in relation to the foreign language students, how have you tapped into that market?
We've tapped into that market very easily. We have great connections. We have our French girl at the front desk. Marie came over to us for some training and some work experience and has been with us for many years since. We also have great associations with the language school market in Dublin. Up to about 2 years ago, there would have been about 15 to 20 of these different companies in operation. Obviously now, because of the current climate, there's only about 10. But because of our capacity again, we're able to take a lot of the foreign language school students, and we do liaise greatly with the companies in Dublin who actually bring the students in and place them within host families.
Maura, if we can step away from the Heritage Park for a second and look at County Wexford as a tourist destination, what are your thoughts in relation to where the opportunities are for growing tourism numbers in County Wexford?
Personally, Carl, I feel that our numbers need to be grown, hopefully from our domestic market as well, which we'd like to obviously increase. Why not? We might as well. We're called the sunny southeast. But our international market has to be grown. Why are we not getting the internationals into County Wexford? We have so much to offer. We have the gateway to Europe with the Europort. We have great services and great links everywhere. Look at your Dublin is only, an hour and a half to 2 hours up the road. We really need to look and tap into the international market. There's a lot of people coming in. They will just go to the southwest and up to the northwest and only come back down if they're going back down on the Europort. We need to hold on to the people. We need to look at more of an offering. We need to have more events happening in Wexford Town and County Wexford. Statistics came out only a couple of weeks ago that the spend in 2010 to County Wexford was €45 million. It was higher than Waterford, Carl. Higher than Waterford and Kilkenny. I couldn't believe it. So people were spending in 2010 when they were here. There's no stats for 2011 yet. I'm sure they'll be greatly down, but we know we're not stupid. We'll all realise that they will be down. But we need to all know what each other's product is about. And I think maybe that's where we're falling slightly. That's only my personal opinion. But we all need to gel together to have more events and more things happening. There's a lot of splinter things going on within County Wexford. Let's all realise what we're doing together, guys.
A lack of joined up thinking in some respects, is there?
Yes, but I think, do you know what, we're getting there. The Visit Wexford initiative, will help and make it happen.
How supportive are Fáilte Ireland in relation to the growth in the tourism market?
They're very supportive, I have to tell you. We've a great representation in the guise of who is down with us all the time at different meetings. Now, the Visit Wexford is not only concentrated on Wexford Town, they also have meetings for New Ross, also for Gorey and Enniscorthy as well. So it's linked in everywhere where they can help. And it might not always be in monetary terms, Karl. We can't have the ever-ending ATM card from Fáilte Ireland, but it is with mentors, with marketing, to steer us in the right direction, to lend a hand, to tell us, what shows to go, to who to target market and things like that.
You mentioned earlier that people are getting off the ferry in Rosslare and heading to the northwest and heading maybe to the west and maybe to Cork and other places like that. Why do you think they're bypassing?
This thing, when you get off a ferry port, maybe it's the same when we travel over as far as Fishguard and places like that in Pembroke, you do tend to want to go a little bit of your journey, that you don't want to stop initially. But we do find, Karl, that there is, as I said earlier, you will get a knock on one way or the other. We do from the British market, and we know, because when people come into us, we're going, how are you? Where are you going? Oh, you finished your holidays, you're on your way home, or are you just starting or whatever? And we like to be able to do little kind of quick surveys with people like that. But people do tend to get off the ferry at ferry ports and have some part of the leg of their journey done.
Well, Maura, your passion is contagious, and I wish you continued success in your role at the Irish National Heritage Park.
You're listening to South East Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.